Would everyone please rise? We're going to sing America the People. Thank you, Sue. Gary, do you have the invocation?
I do. Fellow Rotarians, many of our countrymen gave their todays for our tomorrows. Let us remember their sacrifices they made, so we may enjoy our peaceful mornings here together. We thank you, O Lord, that we are here to say thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Amen. We do have birthdays this morning. I'm going to ask Valerie if she would do the birthdays. It's going to take just a short moment.
I have to. Usually we're closed during February.
Longer than short, but not quite. No. Hey, if I can't give you grief, I can't give anybody grief.
Bruce retired from that responsibility.
Bruce is retired from the club.
Birthdays.
Hey, birthdays for the month of November. We have Bill Erdman, Dale Reed, Bob Kraus, Steve Alva, Guy Asnani, Rose Galliano Phillips, Dee Ang, and Chris DiPaolo. Would you please stand?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. And they live down in our valley. All right.
Thank you, everyone. One more thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday we celebrate a very special day in America, and it's called Veterans Day. If you served in the Army, would you please stand? Stay standing, please. Yeah, please stay standing. Please stay standing, Fred. Fred, please stay standing. If you served in the Navy, please stand. If you served in the Air Force, please stand. And if you've served in the Coast Guard, please stand. A Merchant Marine?
How about if you were the spouse or something?
Will everyone please give a round of applause to these gentlemen? And any other armed forces? Thank you, Steve.
Reserves or anything.
Marines,
Yeah.
reserves. Sue, thank you very much.
There's no Marines in this room.
I'd probably be shot. This is the first time I got shot.
Well done.
It hurts. I did, but it's okay. All right. Sue, we're good. I appreciate all your help and your work over there. Another Thursday, guys. Today we have a real special presentation, which I'll get to in a minute. But I'm going to ask Mike if we have any special guests today.
Special guest, I think everyone's special here obviously today. A special guest, Laura Grow, our new member. Hey! Laura, I've known Laura for many, many years. It's great to see her as part of our club. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, Laura did ask if there's any special hazing techniques we use. So if you have anything interesting you want to share, please do. It's a pleasure meeting you again, Laura. All right, any announcements from the floor? Alicia. Certainly.
March 8th, 2019, the World Rotary and Emmaus Rotary Club will be celebrating International Women's Day. Our committee is starting to work. It's composed of Rose Galliano Phillips and David Dunn and Dee Ang. Well, you will be hearing about it, so you can nominate a woman from the community to receive the community award. But I'm also asking if anyone is interested in serving in our committee. We need men, women. I would appreciate if you please talk to me, and you will be hearing more about it as we continue with the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Bill?
If I could, for a moment, for those that haven't seen the news, I'd suggest that we have a moment of silence for the shooting in California. Last I heard, there was at least 12 or 13 killed, and they were suspecting that there were a number of college students in the bar, because it was a college bar. So I think we have a moment of silence for them.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Eileen?
Well, I want to thank everybody who has contributed to the deodorant collection. We're supposed to get between 150 and 200, and after today's count, I'm sure we have close to 200, so I want to thank everybody for making it successful. And anybody who wants to see how this production goes, show up Tuesday at Holy Spirit Church at 2:30. That's when the packing goes on. And if you can't show, I will get some photographs and make sure they're in the newsletter for everybody to see. But again, give yourselves a hand. Thank you.
Thank you. You'll smell fresh for the next year. Gary?
Canals Homestead leaf raking, I sent the email out a couple weeks ago. I'll send a reminder out, but it's November 17th at 9 a.m. Gene Clock has promised coffee and donuts, so if they're not there, it's not my fault. Then afterwards, we're going to go over to the Guthrie Homestead and clean up leaves there also.
Thank you for the volunteer effort, Gary.
Probably do that. Where's that? Right around here? Whatever else.
Fred, they're doing fine.
You know, we sent out
Yeah.
It's a lot of.
that road.
Oh,
Right, any other
we're
announcements?
South Mountains.
Alexa, Raffle?
Some remembrance going back.
I'm part of the hazing committee. Please take a ticket. Make everybody angry.
There it goes, that's it.
And the winning number is 857.
40 shots.
Oh,
40 shots. You're next, JP.
I think he must put glue on those things, so that, you know, things so it sticks.
He's feeling sorry for himself today.
850.
Steve Allville. Congratulations.
Eight, 6-1.
861. Gary Guthrie.
That's fine and great.
Sergeant at Arms. Thank you, Alexa.
Few people have approached me that are leaving early. I, for one, will be one of the ones leaving early, so the money has been moved to the left pocket. Leaving early, left pocket, got it, thank you. I have a couple pictures here. I'll save the two people, but the one I can hit up right now, Eileen. You were at the Salem Witch Spooky Story.
Eileen has a deer in the headlight look.
It's not her.
It's not me.
Oh, yes, yes. Is that one of those dance tricks where you paste the picture of your face and
One that was given to me.
Oh, that's so funny.
Find the person who gave it to me.
Point of order.
For years, I have had, and it's passed on to Don, a look-alike fund.
Watch what you wish for. Do you remember Humpty Dumpty?
Remember what happened? But that certainly looks like Eileen.
My condolences to the girl.
So it should be a valid fine. Same way with that one that looks like Jim Ritter from the back.
Does that take care of your happy dollars that you were gonna give up?
No, it doesn't. I still have those.
Yes. Somebody is missing their pin, but in hands across the aisle, somebody is paying her fine. So that's very, oh, wow.
Thank you.
Fines are usually $2, but if you want to put a zero behind it, that's fine with me. Oh, do you want change? Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, I'll work on that as I'm collecting them, as we're going along. The other thing I have, these were graciously donated to me by Platt. For those of you that DC comic fans, Marvel comic fans, Friday night is superhero night at the Phantoms, so you get to wear your favorite costume. Flash, Wonder Woman. I have 4 tickets, center ice.
Whoa, goes
I would like to auction these off. Do I have somebody who wants to start a bid here?
I want the tours.
Was that you wanted to start the bid? I'll say 20 bucks.
I got 20 bucks.
Is that this Friday?
This Friday?
That's this Friday.
30.
Is that tomorrow?
We have 30.
Well, you're good, Joe. You are good.
Joe, are you saying 40?
No, I gotta be.
Yeah.
I want to see you.
I got a bottle of wine waiting for me tomorrow.
We're up to 30 for tomorrow night. Superhero night.
I'm super amped.
Yes, I have 4 tickets. You're Ant-Man?
About 35.
Him get that.
Just gets that 35.
35.
35.
We have 40.
I can't.
We have 40 from Dale.
Uh-oh.
Do we have 50?
That's a mere $10 a ticket for these.
Dale, what are you going to dress up as?
Humpty Dumpty.
One more time. Do we hear $50?
40.
Going once, going twice. Sold to Dale for $40. Thank you, Platt.
Do we have any happy dollars?
Yes.
Left. Go ahead.
Actually, it's not happy dollars. I don't know if you if anybody's been notified or not, but Rosina had some serious surgery this week, and unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to call the house and find out how she is. But it was some real serious surgery. She fell a while ago, and it had involved some kind of a hematoma in her head, and it sounds like she's going to be pretty sick. So keep her in your prayers.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
She used to be president of the club, but she
30 years ago, a young woman walked into my office. She was representing an organization called Junior Achievement. Thanks to Bob Halsey, whose position I took at the Small Business Council, this woman came in, her name was Miss Powell. I had a vision of somebody fairly round, bespectacled, 30, 40 years older than I was. She turned out to be 15 years younger, and her first name was Wenda. So, thanks, Bob. And we will celebrate 30 years of knowing each other tonight. All right.
Just a couple happy dollars. Warm welcome to Laura Grow. Laura's on the Education Foundation with me. I thought you were sick of seeing me once a month. Now she's got to see me 5 times a month. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
They know she's not sitting at your table.
I know.
We've got a happy dollar to announce my grandson Carter, who's in the 7th grade at Iyer. He's named Student of the Month. All right.
I have $2. So this morning I'm watching television, having a cup of coffee, and I saw superstar Tony Moyer on WFMZ TV. And I also have a happy dollar to welcome Laura.
Well, no, it's hard to see his hand.
Bob Russ put up his hand.
I worked for True Value Hardware Company for 34 years. I was the best salesman they ever had. When I left and retired, it started on a steady decline. They're still in business, but one of the best sales jobs I ever did was to our friend Jeff. I tried to get him. I did this job with Junior Achievement. I don't remember the position, but I was a speaker and I ran some meetings, and I couldn't do it anymore because I got involved with United Way. I couldn't do both. So I knew Jeff because he was trying to sell me on some insurance, I think, or some whatever. But anyway, I persevered. It was a tough sell because he said he thought Junior Achievement was middle-aged housewives and retired guys. But I said, you're really going to like this woman. I said, she's really. I said, it's going to be worth it. So finally, he kind of reluctantly agreed to, take my position with my Junior Achievement. So I'm going to give $5 for one of the best sales jobs I ever did, and the best decision he ever made.
All right, I got 29 happy dollars, and we're going to round up to 30. Okay? My son just turned 29 on Halloween. He's a Halloween baby, and he's getting married Saturday. The rehearsal dinner is Friday night tomorrow, so I got to be there. So here's 30 happy dollars.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, a couple of happy, sad dollars. I'm not sure how to really phrase them, but Friday night we got, first time since 1985, our basement got flooded. Have you ever had to go through that? That is just so miserable. Dragging out 800 square feet of rug up to the garage and then out to the curb to go out for the trash and all. Got a couple of neighbors to help us out, so that's sort of the happy side that's done. The other side is tomorrow I go in and finding this knee's going to get replaced. I asked for a new brain, but they said all they had was knees, and I got to take a knee. So just keep me in your thoughts for tomorrow.
Back to you.
Joe, where's the rehearsal dinner? We'll all show up.
Next week, you're all welcome to come.
Open bar?
Open bar, yeah, upstairs. I'll be at the downstairs over
That's okay, we'll put on your tab anyway, they won't mind. I've asked Bill Erdman to come up, he's going to finish what he started last week.
Good morning, everybody. For those who were here last week, 13 Paul Harris's. Unfortunately, trying to get 13 members to the same meeting was tough. So there are 2 today, and I have about 2 or 3 more over time. So I could ask Lexa and Dale to come up. Lexa is getting a Paul Harris +6, and Dale's getting a Paul Harris +8. So we have a round of applause.
Take a picture. Take a picture.
He jumps into action.
Action shot.
When JP, doing those songs, not put one rotation song that I had for a week on that spell. And I had it. You do too? Yep.
Must be a small camera.
It's the photographer.
That could be.
It was in my head for a week.
Okay, one more time.
Thank you very much, Bill. So on the golf outing week, unfortunately I'm trying to get the microphone to work. There it goes. Okay.
Hey, who won those things?
So the golf outing week, we had a lot of fun, and we have one prize that was left over, and I think Steve's going to auction it off today. It is a Cleveland wedge. I think there was some talk in the golf committee that it doesn't work.
It's a 52.
It does not work.
52.
Look at that look.
It's a 5210.
He's talking into the
Cleveland RTX 3. VMG tour. It's got a special grip on it, and it's got double line grooves in it. John had mentioned he was looking at these earlier. They retail for $120. Do we hear an opening bid of $7.50?
So we can't guarantee it's going to help your golf game. Okay?
Who needs a new wedge, 52-degree wedge?
I'll give you $10.
$10. Do I have 15?
15.
15. 20.
20.
Platt, I've seen your game.
I will give you 20.
25?
Oh, look, well, thank you.
Goes to a good cause. 20 going once, twice. Sal, 25. 25 or 30?
25.
Oh, 25, okay. 30? 30.
35.
35. Platt, 40? All right, very good.
I have 37.
There's a Cleveland, 2.
He just said 37.
I have $37.
37. 40. I hear 40. 45. Remember, it goes towards the golf outing. We could have the best one ever. Going once.
How long is it?
Going twice. Too long. Here, come here and stand next to it, Joe. All right, so where are we? 40? 40 to Rick. Anyone else? 40 going once.
Is that a left-hand club?
Going twice. By the way, just so you know, I believe it goes for what, 120, Johnny? You can take that in. So that's $40 sold to him. He can take that in and exchange that in at Lehigh's golf shop for $120 in credit.
$100 for $8.
Are you ready for it? It still doesn't work.
All right, so
You are up.
So how do they
Steve's going to announce our special guest this morning.
First of all, I want to thank Rick for everything he's doing. He's doing a good job. Can we have a round of applause for Rick?
We have a special Rotarian with a very interesting program, guys. If you read the trumpet, the president's message, if you had a chance to read it, because I mean, a lot of people don't read it.
Hello, anybody there? Oh, good. It had to do with today's meeting, so I'm going to let Steve introduce our Rotarian.
Okay, so Valerie Deneen approached us and came up with a really, really good idea, a great program for today. And it's something that is very, very important in all we do for Rotary through fundraising or anyone that has reached out to us and helped us. And that is creating what she's calling a thankathon. It's so important to write handwritten notes to people that have supported, especially for the golf tournament, anybody who sold a ticket, anybody who sold a whole sponsorship, anyone that's done anything for anyone. Today's our day to thank them. So I commend Valerie for coming up with a neat idea and a way for us all to be able to reach out and say thank you to the people that supported us. So Val, take it away.
Valerie. Valerie, how is your name pronounced?
Deneen.
Deneen.
Like lean, mean, Val Deneen.
Just give it to Rick, he has the money.
That's all right. Most everybody says Deneen.
Deneen? Deneen. Okay, well, I know that now.
Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to, I'm going to give a little presentation on why we're doing thank you notes, why they're so important, and we will be using that essentially as a tool for outreach for our own club, and you may find that you'll be able to use it as a tool for networking and growing your own businesses as well. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get that out of that. We will have time for actual writing of the cards, and we'll go through what makes the perfect thank you card, and we'll start with the obstacles to writing thank you cards, why people don't actually write thank you cards.
Because they're rude and ill-bred, as my mother would say.
You're right, as your mother would say. Your mother was right. So common obstacles. The number one obstacle people say is that they do not have enough time to write a thank you card. The reality is that studies have shown you can write a very effective thank you card with just 3 sentences. And most studies show that that can be done in less than 5 minutes of time. So today we will have 5 to 10 minutes to write a really effective thank you card as well. The second obstacle was that they don't have supplies on hand. People say that they don't have supplies on hand to write thank you cards. It turns out, okay, well, you need note cards, envelopes, pens, postage, all of which are being provided by our club today. So I'm very excited. We have all the tools that we need to do that. In addition, if you're at home or in your own business, it takes 1 trip to the store and you're all set. So why send thank you cards? Number one, it is the right thing to do. As JP mentioned, if your mother is telling you to be appreciative of any gift, whether it's time or the space to hold a committee meeting, for instance, any of those reasons, you're going to want to send a thank you card. The second reason is that it can be a very powerful tool to grow your network. Think of the people who, maybe you want to write a thank you card as almost like a fan letter to an author who wrote an article that you really like and appreciate. That's a good way to kind of reach out to cold contacts and reach people that you wouldn't normally have in your network, and it makes them feel good. We're going to cultivate relationships, and that's mainly the big reason why we're writing thank you cards today. We're reaching out to people who sponsored our golf outing, number one. We're also reaching out to some of our past speakers who took the time to come to our meetings and prepare a speech for us and present to us today. You also want to stand out from the crowd. Now this can be important if you have a job interview, for instance, and then you follow up with a thank you card. It really goes an extra mile. It's way better than saying the person who interviews you could very well get 200 text messages or emails, but if you send a handwritten thank you card, you really stand out. And I think this will give us a great opportunity to stand out as an organization if we're sending out thank you cards on their behalf. Increase happiness and well-being. This is interesting because you not only help the recipient feel happier and increase well-being there, it is also good for your own happiness and well-being. So now you're cultivating a sense of gratitude, and whatever it is you're thankful for ends up coming back to you way more. This was an interesting study that was done recently in psychological science, and it was by these two psychologist professors, and the title was Undervaluing Gratitude, Expressors Misunderstand the Consequences of Showing Appreciation. The basics of the study was that they had people who were writing thank you cards rate on a scale of 1 to 5 how happy it would make the recipient to receive a thank you card. And the study showed that people severely undervalued how happy it would make a recipient to get a thank you card. Most people guessed on a scale of 1 to 5, it would make people about a 3 in terms of happiness, where a 5 would be the ultimate, like ecstatic happy. And the results were that people who received the card, when they were asked to rate their happiness, used the word ecstatic, believe it or not. So now we're talking about something, this is a gesture that takes less than 5 minutes of time that can make other people feel ecstatic. That's pretty powerful. All right, so this is one of my favorite quotes. The road to success is paved in thank you cards. Okay, so let's talk about what to write. There's 3 easy steps, and we'll go through each one of those. We're going to start with a greeting. Now, usually a good tip for writing thank you cards is to include all 3 tenses. We'll start with the past, we go to the present, and we end with something with a future tense. So here we're saying, it was lovely to see you at the Rotary Golf Tournament this year. Something to that effect. It was great to connect with you at blah, blah, blah event. We start with something simple. Usually it's with the last time you saw someone. Next is where we're being very specific for what it is you're thanking this person for. Here I have, thank you for your generous donation to the Emmaus Rotary Foundation. And now we're going to be specific. Where's that money going? Your money will help us continue to bring lasting change locally as well as globally.
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
If you're thanking someone for a gift, for example, you would say, thank you so much for the blue sweater. How did you know it was my favorite color? Okay. All right, and then lastly, we're going to add a closing. And like I said, we're going to try to end this with a future tense. I look forward to seeing you at future Rotary events, for example. If you really want to be ambitious, you can end with an invitation to attend the Rotary meeting as your guest. That would be fantastic as well. Okay, so now we have some time to write, and then I will finish up with some final thoughts before we end this evening and give instructions on how we're going to actually mail our cards. I have extra cards here as well, and scrap paper if anyone needs, and pens.
Can you go back a couple of slides? Hopefully, the recipients won't compare the cards, right?
If I address it to Edward Jones, he's going to be mad. Dear Ed. Actually, no, I think I might do that. Just so you know. Dear Ed, so good to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Val, are we signing this ourselves or just the Emmaus Rotary Club?
Well, you could include in the card, you could say something like, on behalf of the Emmaus Rotary Club, I would like to thank you for.
No, but I mean.
But then, yeah, I would sign it as yourself, yeah.
Oh, okay, no, it's Emmaus Rotary.
Yeah.
Is this just for the golf tournament? That's what this one's for?
I have some that were past speakers, which I've noted to people who have past speakers, but otherwise, yeah, it's someone who sponsored the golf tournament.
Please send mine.
I thought if someone thanked me, I would like her.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Does everybody have a card?
I don't think I do.
Yeah, who needs one? Who needs a card?
It's stuck in my head again and we didn't even sing it.
Don't start singing it. I'll be off all day.
Yeah, I hear you.
And now, because I'm thinking of
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
How about warm regard? Warm regard.
That's
That's regard. Do we put our name or
Valerie? No, it's not. Can I give mine to Steve since he's here?
I know, it's I'll be sitting in my car.
Oh, stop. And now they're singing it all day in my head.
JP. We're talking about how you got that song stuck in our head.
Which song is that?
Or it was in my head for a week after.
I'm so very happy.
End with that.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, it was. I was cooking dinner, I was whistling to it, my family was yelling at me all week.
I'll have to teach you
I do, I need to know another number.
You don't really need
The whole book.
Yeah.
We normally take this out once a year. I think this year we took them out twice.
Yeah?
But you know what?
Yeah, yeah, it was twice since I've been.
It's everybody's favorite part of any meeting.
Should we seal them or should we put our terms on the card?
So would this be to somebody who bought a ticket from me?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
I think you know the Brian who actually won it. Because between he and one of his other buddies, they bought, I think, 18 tickets.
Wow.
They gone.
Tom Apple bought one.
So the ticket that actually won, him and the buddy that went over.
Wow.
So there's a handful that they went all.
That's incredible.
A handful that one bought, he bought, some his wife bought.
Glad I brought my own.
Sounds like that. Greatly appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Well needed. Yeah, it seemed that way, so it's like perfect.
He actually made the morning call a couple of weeks ago. He was on top couple at the
So he's really.
Oh Unfortunately, he lost on Sunday morning. He was like, I just had one of those bad games, and unfortunately, my bad game was late. Yeah, if it's early, you can kind of get past it.
I don't know.
He's won it twice before. Locally. He's like, I really wanted to do a third time before I hit 40.
I'm sure Tiger Woods was thinking the same thing. I just want to check this record before I turn 40.
Okay, I think we're just about finishing up. As you're finishing up, I want you to think about how you can use thank you cards in your own businesses and relationships to cultivate those and get those to grow. And as we know, if we cultivate our own networks and relationships, our own Rotary Club can grow as well. As you're leaving, please take a minute to put your completed thank you cards in the box on the back table. Is there? And the Rotary Club will provide postage for all of those as you're heading out. Any questions? Please feel free to come. Yes.
I just wanted to say I love this topic because I've noticed, with children today, they're not really in the habit of this. And I know years ago we used to write thank yous to everyone that came to a birthday party. Go ahead, Rick.
Go forward.
Oh,
keep going.
No, years ago we used to write thank you card. Thank you for coming to my birthday party, and I said that to my kids, and they're like, "That's corny. No one writes thank yous anymore." And I said, "That's not true."
No, it's not true.
And my daughter, she just recently took care of our neighbor's dogs, and I said, "I want you to write them a letter. Thank you for allowing me to take care of your dogs while you were away." She said, "Yeah, but I did a job. I helped them." And I said, "No." I said, They asked you if you would do it, and you agreed. So you still need to thank them for trusting you with their animals." Oh, okay. But that was the mentality. They thought, well, I did a service and I was provided. So that's not what it's about. It's about cultivating those
cultivating that. Yes, just like a garden. Yeah, you want to tend to those relationships and make sure that you're front of mind with people. Many times in my own business, when I went the extra mile to send a thank you card, I got a response saying, "Oh, by the way, I have this campaign coming up where I'm available for such and such."
Yeah.
It's amazing what just having that person at the top of your mind will do for you. Yeah. So that's a great point. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and keep in mind, most people will be ecstatic to see your thank you cards. It really does go an extra mile, and thank you so much for coming out today and taking the time.
Yeah, I love it. But it's true, we used to send thank yous, like thank you to your grandparents, thank you when you got money, and now it's like, yes, that's such a true point.
All purchases go to the store.
What store are you at?
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I really do appreciate Valerie coming to the table with this idea.
Thanksgiving. It's a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
Sometimes you scare me. Out of the blue comes Thanksgiving. But she's absolutely right. For Thanksgiving, you're going to go to dinner on Thanksgiving, and Sue's going to be available. Her home is open for us. We can all go to Sue's house. Ray will not mind a little bit. And then you just send a thank you card to Sue. It'd be perfect.
I'd like to say something else. I wanted to thank Valerie too, but I think it's important to know that some of you don't know, Valerie's, and she didn't pay me to say this, but Valerie's entire business is based on social media and an online presence and virtual this and YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat and everything else. And yet here she is, a lady whose entire business is based on, the new media and the new ways of communicating, here advocating that we go back to doing stuff with pen and paper. I mean, it's one thing when an old guy like me says, "Oh, you should write thank you notes." But it's another thing when a lady whose entire business career is predicated on social media and things being digital is saying, "You know what, you better get the pen and paper out." So thanks, Valerie.
Thanks,
I'd just like to say that all that coming from a guy who wore a fedora at the age of 14.
Yes, Miss?
Yes, I'm the older person with the glasses that Jeff was saying he
Where are the
expected
glasses?
at the door. But what I was saying about education, research has shown that children learn better when they write. Even even the cursive handwriting helps them put ideas
Which doesn't
together.
exist in
So writing helps them remember to be thankful. And when you're thankful, you are a nicer person. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
I just have one question. So,
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
so we don't do a return address or anything?
No, I would leave the return address. Okay.
Hopefully it gets there.
I know.
Yes, Mr. Urban.
I wanted to also thank Valerie for pointing out that I received a handwritten thank you card last week. I think it was the first one in about a year and a half, I'll remember. But I have an interesting story I learned when I was in Vistage. A traveling salesman, I realized people don't travel a lot. He carried thank you cards with him. And he left the office to go visit somebody. He wrote the card out and he took it to the local post office and mailed it from that post office. And he said, you wouldn't believe how many phone calls I would get from somebody saying, you mailed this card from the post office down the street? They noticed the return, the post office stamp. That's another interesting little tip. He said it's amazing how many people called back and said, how'd you do this?
I'll tell my little story. Last week I met with a friend of mine. He will remain anonymous. And I asked him a question about one of the people. He was looking at a professional for doing some of his work. And he said, honestly, the reason I chose the person I chose was because out of the 6 people I talked to, he was the only one that sent me a thank you note. So if you're in business and you're looking to gain new customers and you meet with someone, take a minute. It's going to cost you, what, 55? I don't even know what a stamp costs. 50 cents. Thank you, Steve. It doesn't take a lot of time, it doesn't take a lot of work, and it certainly is appreciated, especially in business life. All right, with that all being said, if you would please rise and say the pledge of allegiance.
That is nuts.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.